What would you say if I told you that today is there a camera that can record 5.7K 420 10 bits, ProRes HQ and 422, you can record Cinema 4K 120p, OpenGate 4x3 formats and much more. You pretty much know which camera I'm talking about. It's the new GH6 from Panasonic, but if there's such an amazing camera on the market now, why do people say that Micro Four Third is dead? And by people, I mean YouTubers. My name is Michael and I'm a videographer on Åland Islands in Finland, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, well, it's your first time here. Congratulations. It's a very known fact that on YouTube, like full frame is the way to go on YouTube because that gives you that shallow depth of field and it gives you that separation from the background, which I'm on a full frame sensor now, but I'm using the kit lens, so I'm not that separated from the background, but it's enough, I think. But why do people really want full frame? What's the reason behind it? Well, the image quality is said to be better, which it is in some ways. The full frame sensor is much bigger than the Micro Four Third sensor, hence it captures more light. It's said to capture more light at least, and it really depends on which lens you're having on the system, of course, but it gets that better image quality and blurrier background. So is that reason enough for Micro Four Third to be completely dead? I don't think so, because you don't make better films just because you're on a full frame camera. That comes with experience and actually using the camera the way that you want the camera to work. And it's so much what comes from your head in like filmmaking, and if you're not a good storyteller, then it doesn't matter which sensor you're on, you're basically going to record shit anyway.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
So, like, instead of focusing on which size of the sensor it is, just focus on the story, basically. Don't focus on the camera. Like, I get that you want the latest and greatest thing, and I sort of want that too, but many times you can just invest in yourself by learning instead of like buying stuff, because you don't get better as a filmmaker if you just buy stuff. You have to use the stuff too. It's not that we're going to talk about, it's just a side note, and I wanted to like address that thing about Micro Four Third being dead, because it's really not. It's absolutely not. And when the GH6 actually got released, I was so excited, like, ProRes in camera, are you freaking kidding me? It's like a black magic, like a pocket cinema camera, but better, because the Aves is there. Like, if you're a run and gun filmmaker, if you're doing documentary stuff, if you're doing wedding, if you're doing like events, and basically everything in between, interviews, you have control lighting, basically everything that falls into the filmmaking aspect of this camera, I suppose, it's perfect for. It's really a monster of a camera. Okay, Michael, but if it's so good, why do people hate on this camera? Well, I think that people like the big YouTubers, I'm not going to say any names here, but they really want that shock value to their videos. Of course, they're going to say that Micro Four Third is dead, because it may be for them. They're shooting on like full frame systems, they're being sponsored. It doesn't matter for them if the lenses are big, it doesn't matter for them if the systems are really expensive. But for filmmakers and videographers and stuff like that, where you really need to like focus on what the gear actually brings to the table, it's such a different thing from YouTube. I mean, the GH5 has been a really good workhorse for many filmmakers. Up until this day, I'm still shooting on the GH5, but I just bought this camera like a couple of months ago, or maybe a half year ago, something like that. And I'm still like really impressed about this camera. It's a filmmaking monster. Like Aves, it's on par with the best that's on the market. And the lenses, like check this out. This is a 56mm little beast of a lens, but it's so small, and this is equivalent to a 112mm lens. Like seriously, how can you compete with a kit like this? And it's like super comfortable to use. The Panasonic cameras, they're always really good with the ergonomics of the camera and user friendliness. Like the menus are really good and the cameras are really good, and I really like how Panasonic are treating like the cameras that they produce. They're giving it a lots and lots of thoughts. Not that the other companies doesn't do this, but it feels for me like Panasonic is one of the companies that actually cares a lot about the video making aspect. There's really not any company that's more video orientated in this price range of a camera anyway. And the abilities that you have with this, it's like vector scopes and shutter angle. It's really video centric cameras, and you don't need the best quality every time. It's just like you can record 400 megabits per second all intra on this little beast here, and it's a really nice quality image coming out of this camera, the GH5. I was really excited when they announced the GH6 actually. It feels like I'm one of the few, but I'm not, obviously. There's a lot of people that's really excited about the GH6, and rightfully so, I think, because the GH6 is going to bring a lot of things to the table that the other companies really didn't do up until now, I guess. Like ProRes, that's going to be hard to compete with, and putting the GH6 up against a camera like the A7S III, which is a monster of a camera. Honestly, it's a really good camera, but the GH6 brutally kicks it in the balls with many of its features. You pay 2,400 euros for the GH6, while you pay like 4,500 euros for the A7S III, and then you don't even have any lenses yet. So you could invest in a really nice lens to begin with, and you're about the same money as a A7S III. Maybe you can even put a tripod in there and a monitor and some other accessories that you really need for filmmaking. It would cost you like several $1,000s more or euros more if you were to invest that into the Sony camera. Look, I'm sorry guys, but I just can't justify the price that the A7S III is at the moment. The A7S III is a really nice camera. I'm not complaining at all. If I were to switch to Sony, it would be the A7S III, but for me, I'm so used to Panasonic by now, it would be a really stupid thing to change to a system which I'm a little bit iffy about. I'm not that keen. I understand that you buy into Sony to get that autofocus, but I'm not interested in the autofocus. It's not even remotely interesting to me. As long as I can do these kind of talking headshots, which I can that on my S5. I don't need autofocus. I need great content, which this is. So we're running out of time here, and I just want to thank you for watching, and you have a nice day, and take care. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Bye.